Here we are in section 2.4 with the solutions to numbers 18 through 23. Number 18, a word problem. Two numbers add to 251. So adding to 251, that's part of the data. The second is 41 bigger than. We're going to have 41 plus than the first. What are the two numbers? Notice that two numbers, we're looking for two numbers, so we need two variables. We have the second, let's call it S, and the first, call it F. So now let's write out these equations. Two numbers add to 251. The two numbers add to 251. So let's do F, that's the first, plus the second, that's not a 5, equal 251. That's our first equation right there. Great. And now let's write the second one. The second, that's S, is 41 bigger than the first. And now we have translated them to math, but we have two equations. Notice this equation, we can't just solve it the way it is because we have two variables. But luckily they told us what this S is. So we take this guy and substitute it right over there in for the S. So our equation actually becomes F plus 41 plus F, there's our S, equals 251. Now that's an equation we can be happy about. Happy math land. Look at that. We have an equation. We know how to solve this guy. Let's move it over here. That's 2F plus 41 equals 251. Subtract 41 from both sides. That's 2F equals 210. And divide by 2, and we get F is 105. Now if the first is 105, and the second is 41 bigger than that, if we put a 105 right there, 41 plus 105 is 146. So S is going to equal 146. The two numbers then, if we just write the numbers out as solution, we created the F and the S. That's actually not what was requested. It just wants to know that the two numbers, first one's 105 and the second one is 146. Good, good. Number 19. Jack earned 68, 75, and 82 on his first three tests. So we have three numbers that we're going to use. What does he need on his fourth test? So that's going to be the question. Let's call it like T. That's the question, to average 79. Ooh, how do we average? Well, we add up and divide by 4 of them. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and then divide by 4. That has to equal 79. Well, that gives us this equation. 68 plus 75 plus 82 plus t, all divided by 4, has to equal 79. Yeah, there we go. Now we can do something with this. So if we add this up, 68 plus 75 plus 82 is 225. Let's write it out here so we have enough room. 225 plus t over 4 has to give us 79. If we get rid of that fraction, yeah, we have a fraction, let's get rid of it. Times by 4, times by 4, and now we have that 225 plus t has to equal, what is that? 316. Subtract 225 from both sides, and we get that t is 91. Yeah, he has to score a 91 in order to average 79 because of these things that were below 79. Yeah, so average 79, he must get a 91 on his fourth test. All right, the next one. Number 20. I've created a triangular garden such that the largest side, well, let's draw a triangle here. The largest side, we'll call it L, is 8 meters less, or 8 subtracted from, twice the smallest, then S. The medium side, right here, is 12 larger than the smallest, so that's 12 bigger than that S. And we have the smallest side right over here. The total perimeter. Now, how do we get a total perimeter? The total perimeter is 108. Here we're going to take this plus this plus this. That's how we get perimeter. And we could do this in 2 steps. We'll do it in 2 steps first, and then you can kind of see how you could skip a step. You would have the small plus the medium plus the large equaling the total perimeter, 108. And then substitute that in for the M and this in for the L. And you would get S plus 12 plus S plus 2S minus 8 equal to the 108. Now notice you could have, if you just sort of ignored that guy and ignored that guy for a minute, you'd have 12 plus s and 2s plus s, and you would just add up the perimeter all the way around. And you could almost do that before writing the equation. But yeah, look, right now we have an equation. This is great. We have 1, 2, 3, 4s plus, this is a plus 12 and a minus 8. That's a plus 4 equals 108. Look at that nice happy equation. Subtract 4, we get 4s equals 104. Divide by 4 and we get s equals 26. So the smallest side is 26 meters. Now let's stick this back in and see how big the other sides are. 12 plus 26. So if we take that and make that a 26 right there, 12 plus 26 is 38 meters for the medium side. And 2 times 26, 2 times 26 minus 8, that's 52 minus 8 is 44. So we have 26 meters, 38 meters, and 44 meters. And this is the only combination in the entire cosmos where it fits exactly this scenario of the largest side being 8 less than twice the smallest, and the medium side being 12 larger than the smallest, where the total perimeter of a triangular garden is 108. Shazam, like that. All right, next one, 21. If a rectangle, okay, so let's draw a rectangle. First of all, we got a shape going on here. That's not a very good rectangle, but there we go. Rectangle is 5 more than 3 times the width. So here's the width, and it says the length is 5 more than 3 times the width. And it says the entire perimeter is 58. What are the dimensions? Now this is in millimeters, so let's not forget that. Well, do we have a formula? Yeah, this is a shape. We know how to figure perimeter. Perimeter is 2 length plus 2 width. It tells us what the length is right here, and we stick that in. And of course, the 58 goes in the perimeter. So this is our equation. We get 58 equals 2 times the entire length, which is 5 plus 3w, plus 2w. And notice what we did. This equation had a lot of variables in it. It gave us what the p was, but since it gave us this hint as to what the L was, when we stick it in, we now have an equation that has only one variable. This is a happy equation. We know how to do this. Undo the parentheses. Get rid of the parentheses. So we get 58 equals 2 times 5 is 10, and 2 times 3w is 6w. And then that plus 2w on the end there. So we have 58 equals 10 plus 8w. Subtract 10 from both sides, and we get that. And 8w divided by 8 on both sides, and we get w equals 6. Oh, that's a bad... Let me undo that guy for a minute. W equals 6. So the width is 6 millimeters. Now that's important. If we say the width is 6 millimeters, it tells us what the length is as well, because it's 5 plus 3 times 6, which 5 plus 18 is 23. So the dimensions are 6 millimeters by 23 millimeters. And those are the only two that fit exactly this. They'll give you the perimeter being 58 millimeters all the way around. Well, yeah, 6 and 23 plus 6 and 23 will be indeed 58. Where 5 more than 3 times 6 is 23. All right, number 22. 2 consecutive integers add to 123. Consecutive, that is a big help. Consecutive means they're right in a row. So we actually don't need 2 variables right now, because 2 consecutive integers, that means if you pick one of them to be x, the other one is right in line with it. The next one up, if we have one of them as the variable x, the next consecutive is one larger. Great. And it says 2 of them, they add to 123. So add to equal 123. So here's the first one, here's the second one, and now they add to 123. Oh, that gave us a nice equation. 2x plus 1 equals 123. Subtract 1 and we get 2x equals 122. Divide by 2 and we get x equals 61. So if x was 61, then x plus 1, the next one up, is 62. So 61 and 62, and we really only needed one variable in order to solve that, because we just needed where these 2 consecutive integers started counting from. Oh, I like that one. That was good. Number 23, 3 consecutive odd integers. Now watch out for the odd. Again, consecutive helps us because we start with one of them, and since we're going consecutive odd integers, if this is an odd integer, the next odd one, we don't add 1, we've got to add 2. Because there's an even one. So if this is an odd number, we've got to skip the even one and go to x plus 2 is the next odd one. And then the next odd one would be 2 higher than that, or x plus 4. Those are the 3 consecutive odd integers, and we only needed the one variable of where to start. That's pretty slick. And it says they add to 93. Oh, that's nice. We've got an equation. We can solve this. X, that's 3x plus 2 plus 4 plus 6 equals 93. Subtract 6, we get 3x equals 87. Divide by 3, and we get x equals 29. Okay, so the first of the 3 consecutive odd integers is 29. So the next one up would be 31. And then the next one up would be 33. And those are the 3 consecutive odd integers that add to 93. Great!